how is my body feeling? Is it going to be able to hold up? So at this point, as I sit here, I think since Friday, I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Okay.
Yo, Henry Confidential here. I am watching the Pat McAfee show live right now. This is about 5 minutes before Aaron Rodgers is supposedly supposed to come on the show. So I'm excited for that. I'm at work, obviously, but I'm manifesting. I got my Jets on underneath. Hopefully within the next 5 minutes we have, maybe not confirmation, but almost exact, resolution that we know that Aaron's coming. So if you guys want to check out some of my videos over here, I'll have it somewhere or in the description, reacting to Zach Wilson being drafted a couple years ago. Whether it's worked or not, which it hasn't, but in terms of how we feel about him long-term post Rodgers, you could hear my breakdown on that. And then last year with Sauce, Garrett, and JJ, you can watch that. So I'm not saying I have any credibility in terms of online presence, but I think I know what I'm talking about. So starting a YouTube channel for the Jets, Gotham Green, check that out. But this is the reaction to hopefully Aaron Rodgers being traded to the New York Jets. All right, so I have it playing reaction a little bit just in case Rodgers off the rip wearing some Jets gear or whatever. But so I'm not sure the noise in the background. I'm driving right now to park, but this is going to be amazing. I am super excited, and let's go. So while this is playing, generally speaking, my opinion and my thoughts on Rodgers to the Jets. I'm excited. It's going to be a great trade. It's going to change the foundation of what this team can be and what this team can be known as. And if anybody can get Zach Wilson's head out of his ass, it would be Rodgers. So clearly he was able to help develop Jordan Love, who was considered a project in the same draft class as Zach Wilson. So let's go. Aaron Rodgers, baby.
What's up, dude?
Good afternoon. Good morning here. Good afternoon there.
How are you, man? There's a lot going on in your world, bro. I don't even know if you know this or if you've been so locked in. How are you doing? Where are you right now? And what's up, brother?
Yeah, I'm in Southern California. I've been down here for a little bit now. I'm not right out of the darkness. I was in the darkness for 5 days, 4 nights in the end of February. So we're a little bit past that now. We're moving to the middle of March now.
Ides of March.
Ides of March, yes, definitely.
Okay, well,
Ides of March long ago, but
Toga, right? Did the Toga parties?
Yeah, that makes sense. You bet.
People are dancing.
Look at the smile on his face.
I believe.
He's not retired.
But yeah, a lot has happened since you come back into the light, pal. How are you with it all?
Finished the season out. Obviously we were still in it and still kind of trending. The dream is, you finish things out, you win the Super Bowl, and then you go into the darkness, go into retirement, and that's kind of a transition period for you. Obviously, we didn't do that. We got bounced and didn't make the playoffs. So it was, getting away from the season, the frustration, the emotion, and then, just allowing myself to contemplate both retirement and then coming back to playing and what that looks like. And I'm really thankful for that time in the darkness.
So what does it look like? What did you where are you at right now when it comes to everything we hear about the Jets situation? Coach's GM flew out to see you in Southern California. Where are you right now? What are we doing?
Well, I think that there's, again, which is pretty standard, there's some information out there that's true for sure. There's a lot that isn't true. There's some that has parts of truth to it. There's a lot that has zero truth to it. I will say this, I know because there's probably a lot of different, non-usual viewers today.
A lot, yeah.
This isn't a decision day. This isn't me deciding and announcing to the world that this is what's going on. In fact, that's already happened. We're actually days past this. This is kind of clearing things up, I think, for everybody interested, which there obviously seems to be a lot of people interested. So the whole, and I'm going to get into this now.
Get into it!
Go for a little bit here.
Hey, go ahead. There's 430,000 people currently, so a lot more people watching than normal, and they are all interested because you're a fucking dog as a football player. So go ahead and do your thing, pal.
listen, I love you guys and I enjoy coming on. But this was, coming on the show was never going to be to announce, I'm retiring or I'm coming back or blah, blah, blah. This is more just to tell you exactly the state of affairs where we sit today on March 15th.
It's not a gimmick.
Because there have been a lot of changes. The history of this and kind of the timeline, which I think is important, that's why I'm going to go through it, is that in 2020, they drafted Jordan to replace me. Now, there wasn't replacement right away, but as is the case with the Packers and kind of the way they do things, they like to get rid of players like a year early instead of a year late in their mind. So there's probably some people who believe that I was a descending player and that it was time to make a change, even though we're just coming off the NFC Championship game and obviously we got blown out by San Fran, but we had a 13-3 season and we're the number 2 seed and made it all the way to the NFC Championship. So they drafted a guy to replace me. Now, maybe not right away because there was nothing about trading in the immediate, but even farther back from that, you have to realize I was drafted in 2005 by Ted Thompson. The front office at that time looked a lot different. Front office consisted of Ted Thompson, John Schneider is now GM of Seattle, Reggie McKenzie, who went on to be GM of Oakland, John Dorsey, who went on to be GM of Cleveland, Elliott Wolf, who's
I
been
love how he's
handling,
he's talking about this from a football standpoint, not just drama and
awesome guy. That was the front office of the Packers. So,
and he's doing it calm.
The front office now looks completely different. There's still obviously some scouts and different people that have been around for a while, but that was the guys who were there when I was drafted in 2005. Fast forward to 2020, when they drafted Jordan, there's none of those guys there. So this is a new regime. The president of the Packers in 2005 was Bob Harlan, father of Kevin Harlan. Bob, legendary guy. I love Bob so much. I have so much love for him, and and obviously for the organization, for so many people that work in the organization, for the fan base. I mean, I love Green Bay. That's always going to be. But a lot of those people who were there in the beginning aren't there now. Again, a lot of my closest friends are still, in the training room. Flea and Nate and Kurt, and some of the old heads, and obviously the equipment room. What an incredible staff that is with Red and T-Bone, and Brian Nearing and Odie and Kevin Nelson, who recently retired, but Kevin and Adam in the cafeteria and Doug Collins and Justin Crabb and all the awesome people that have been there forever. But a lot of people who were there in the beginning just aren't there as far as decision makers go. So when they drafted Jordan, this conversation would have happened a lot sooner had I not won, back-to-back COVID MVPs. So we come off of last year with obviously missing playoffs. I didn't have an MVP season. I was interested in where they would be at mentally. Everything that I was told in the week that I was in Green Bay was take as long as you want, and we want you to retire a Packer. You want to come back and play. Obviously, the door is wide open. So that was the information that I was going on. Now, when I came out of the darkness, something changed. I'm not exactly sure what that was, but something changed. And I got back to my phone after 5 days off of it, because your phone's not on the entire time. There's no Wi-Fi on that, hippie mountain. And when I got back to that little shack they have where there's one bar of Wi-Fi, I got back to
look at AJ smiling.
Text messages and emails and all different things. I realized that there'd been a little bit of a shift.
AJ knows.
And that I heard from multiple people that I trust around the league, players mostly, that there was some shopping going on, that they were interested in actually moving me. And at this point, I got to admit, I went in the darkness, 90% retiring.
He's pissed.
10%.
He's pissed. He
That's
wants
where
payback.
my mind was.
He
My
wants
mind
to
was,
prove him wrong. Let's go.
I'm tired of this. I hadn't got back into my workouts yet, and I thought that was what was best for me. So I went in the darkness to contemplate a lot of different things, but one day I spent entirely on the reality I was retired, and one day I spent entirely on the reality that I was coming back and playing. I just really sat with that for hours and hours, what that looked like, what the reality is, how that all felt. And when I came out, I was really interested in what the kind of landscape was, where Green Bay was at. And obviously, if I wanted to play, what were the options? So it was clear to me at that point that although the Packers were going to say the right thing publicly, that they were ready to move on. And I don't know what changed that or what moved that. If they just said, hey, we need to make a decision here because he hasn't made a decision yet. Again, there's no victims here. I'm not sitting here as a victim.
He's handling this like a dog.
I love Green Bay. I love the fan base. They're incredible. I live for playing for them and for Lambeau. A lot of love for the organization. I just think I wish that in the beginning of the offseason that had been the conversation, because I love direct communication. If they had just said, "Listen,
the Jets directly from day one, you're our guy.
We think it's time to move in a different direction, and we love you, and you're going to be a Packer Hall of Famer. You're going to go in the Hall as a Packer. We're going to, retire your number, whatever it might be, But it's time to move on." I would have said, "Man, thank you so much just for telling me that. Like, I really, really appreciate that. That means the world to me that you would tell me that." Because I really believe that's the sentiment, and that's fine. It really is. It's totally fine. This is an incredible profession, but it's a tough business for sure.
You've said that for a long time, Aaron. You've said that for a long time.
Some of these issues were things I was talking about 2 years ago. It was how do we treat older players on the way out, and it's ironic that now I'm that player, but I think that's the beauty in life is the the sense of humor that the universe has. But so I'm no malice, no bitterness towards the Packers. It's been bittersweet for sure the last 10 days. So I've shifted my focus to entertaining, what the plane would look like, and had the Packers granted obviously permission for the Jets to come out and visit. We had a nice visit. They decided to leave their cars in the street, which attracted paparazzi attention, which got a few of them photographed, which I thought was pretty funny. But
made a couple mistakes early.
But we had a nice conversation, and I told them, "Listen, I'm not ready to make a decision about anything. I want to get back into my workouts and see how it feels. To really hit it hard for a week. I've obviously been working out before that, but to really hit it hard for a week and see if the drive and the passion is still there, and then I'll see where we're at." And so again, this is why this is not a decision here. The decision I think was made in my mind whether or not I was able to admit at that point. Really on that Tuesday, I wanted to play, and then it was, how is my body feeling? Is it going to be able to hold up? So at this point, as I sit here, I think since Friday, I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Okay.
And I haven't been holding anything up at this point. It's been compensation that the Packers are trying to get for me, and kind of digging their heels in. So I would just, I think it is interesting at this point to step back and look at the whole picture. My side, love and appreciation, gratitude for everything that Green Bay has done for me. So much love and gratitude, and just heart open for the Packer fans and what it meant to be their quarterback. And also the reality of the situation, like it is what it is. Packers would like to move on. They've let me know that in so many words. They've let other people know that in direct words. And because I still have that fire, and I want to play, and I would like to go and work. It's just a matter of, getting that done at this point.
Okay, people in New York are doing this right now. Yeah. People in New York are pumped right now, and I appreciate you laying it all out there. I appreciate you detailing your side of it, why you feel the way you feel. Now, obviously, there's like 400,000 plus people watching. Not everybody will get to hear that. I hope everybody gets a chance to hear why you are in the position that you're in, and also why you chose to come on here today, because there's a lot of drama allegedly being built by you, dragging this out. Is this guy doing this? Because the last we had heard, although you made your decision on Friday, the last we had heard is you were contemplating still wanting to play, or do you want to play for the Jets, or do you want to play for another team? So you giving your side of it, I think, lets a lot of people that are maybe hating know, like, yo,
pump the brakes.
Let's understand that there's a whole nother layer to this, which is how all the insiders have been talking about it. That layer, are you involved in that process at all with what the compensation is? Are you completely hands off of that and you're just along for the ride with everybody else? Or how active have you been in the whole process here, Aaron?
Pretty hands off of that, honestly. I've just been focused on working out and, taking care of my business out here. I obviously have an agent, and the GMs have been talking, I'm sure, about that. At this point, like I said, it's my intention to play for the Jets, but I'm still under contract with the Packers. So.
Yeah, they got no leverage either. I don't know how many people are watching. They're trying to compare this to the Matthew Stafford situation. Matthew Stafford, a part of the trade and what they gave up was because they were taking on Jared Goff's contract that was massive. Your contract would be leaving the team, so take that out of the leverage pool. And also, they've pretty much put them in a position contractually with Jordan Love because they have to decide whether or not they're going to pick up the 5th year. They made this decision by drafting Jordan Love that everybody else knows that they're going to another quarterback anyways, and they don't want it on the book. So it's a vastly different leverage situation. I think we all just assumed that would have got done. I think that's why we were all thinking that it was you. Has this surprised you a little bit as well, or no?
I mean, not really, honestly.
Oh, okay. Why not?
Well, listen, I think, my plea is, and I would say this is debatable, but I'm debatably the best player in franchise history. I'm in the conversation for sure.
That was awesome.
What's not debatable is I'm the longest tenured Packer in history. Like, you can debate the first part, obviously, Bart, Brett, a number of names have been incredible. But you can't debate anybody's been there longer than I have. And nobody's bled green and gold like me. I mean, I love that city. I love those fans. I love that region.
New York for 2 years.
And
maybe.
I've never been a free agent. I've never even got there. Yeah, the team has done it, but I've never said, let me test free agency here. Like, cause I want to, I kind of want to get out of here. Like this weather, or, whatever it might be. Just, I need a new, it was never that. I love Green Bay. I do love Green Bay. I mean, I love the people. I love going to Chives and seeing my buddy Logan. I love India Bob Vaughn now. Incredible Indian spot in town.
Hell yeah. That's good.
I love my boy Rob at Frame Makers. I love so many people in that town. So many people that work at the organization. And I love our fans, man. We've got a great fan base. I mean, it was never about that. Now it's about the reality situation.
Like I said, it's a business.
And I think there's probably people who are really wanting to move on.
The weight is JD is not giving up.
About it. I have nothing but love in my heart for every Packer fan and everybody that works in the organization.
It's not they don't like that. That's just
my life is better because of my time in Green Bay. But we just gotta look at the reality.
JD is not giving up that 13th pick.
They don't want me to come back, and that's fine. They're ready to move on with Jordan.
That's awesome. You're giving up the 13th pick.
Jordan's gonna be a great player. He's a fucking great kid.
We haven't cut Corey Davis yet.
Really good year this year.
You still have Jordan
getting better. On the look team. He's got a bright future in front of him. They got a good
Packers just lost Amos.
I got so many great friends on that team.
They just lost Lazard.
I'm still going to be great friends with.
So either or both of them are possibilities.
The fact of the matter is, like,
if we cut Corey Davis, give them Elijah Moore, get back
aging, face of the franchise for the last 15 years. That it's time to do right by, and let's listen to your language. Mark Murphy said it the other day, right?
Had a great career. Yeah. If the only way Aaron would be the quarterback is if what we want to happen obviously doesn't happen. So that's what he actually said publicly, which I think you said if he would have told you that before you were going into this process, you wouldn't have been so offended by it all. I think when you laid it all.
Honestly, I wasn't offended by it at all. I'm not offended.
No. But like the miscommunication-wise, he didn't tell you that was the case. They told you to take your time, and then when you came out of the darkness, it was like a different message. And you said this has kind of been an issue with Green Bay alum for a long time. It's like how you handle the whole next.
Well, just look at the track. Look at the track record from the guy sitting over there to what happened with Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb and Julius Peppers, Clay Matthews, Brett Good, on and on and on. There's just a way of doing things that you don't want to bring it back. That's fine. It's a business, but there's a way of doing it that allows the man to keep the dignity. And honestly, that's some of the stuff I was fighting for a couple of years ago. Like, how can we do this a little bit better? If we want to be about family and want to be about loving and taking care of our people, like, let's put our actions where our words at. Because it's really important to me. That part is important. Now I'm the person, and look, I'm not offended by any of this. I'm not a victim by any of this. I don't have that mentality. I have nothing but love and appreciation. It's been bittersweet. Like, coming to this reality has been really bittersweet because I was drafted by Green Bay. I fucking love that city, love that organization, and always going to have love for that organization. But the facts are right now, they want to move on.
Oh my God, it's right there.
The chip.
And now so do I.
Hey, do you see it? AJ, do you see what's like?
Chips are stacking up the chips. It's right. stacking the chips on your shoulder. We know that. Hey, quick, if you, let's say you came out of the darkness retreat, as you said, what, 5 days, 4 nights, I believe, long time in there, very long time. Say you check your phone in Green Bay, you get your first text was, hey man, we love you, come on back, we need this. Would you have been gung-ho going back to Green Bay?
I mean, that's a good question. Not really. I just felt like I knew that wasn't going to happen. Number one,
smart,
but
good save.
Number two,
why if you said when you left at the end of the season.
Let me get to it. Because
Let him answer a question, AJ. Jeez, ask him a question, let him answer. Thank you, Aaron. Sorry about it. Jeez.
That just wasn't the sentiment that I felt throughout the season. You know, especially even towards the end of the season, it felt like everybody was ready to move on. And you know, I was interested by what the conversation would be in the week after the season,
So trying to hold mine
but
up here
it was
to, like,
pretty
chill,
obvious.
look normal. Have that on my desk.
They weren't, you know, they weren't staying on the table. They weren't doing the opposite though. It was kind of in the middle. Well, whatever you want to do, you know, we're going to do. And obviously that changed, and they felt like they had to take a hard line, which, you know, look, nobody wants to be the bad guy in a situation, and honestly, there isn't at this point a bad guy in a situation, as long as everything gets resolved the right way. They want to move on, and now I want to play, and so that would obviously be me moving on as well.
So you know how I was saying chips on the shoulder there. I don't know if you took that as a compliment or if you agree with that or not. But Michael Jordan, right at that Utah restaurant we saw in The Last Dance, that's all I need that motherfucker to say. And the guy was like, hey, good luck tomorrow, Michael Jordan. Like, you're the greatest player of all time. And he's like, yeah. The way he said it, though. Like, did you said you were thinking about, you know, retirement 90-10 going into the darkness because the plan was to win a Super Bowl and do that. Then you come out of there and you chat with the Green Bay Packers, even though they had a different tone. How much of that was kind of a driver to be like, yeah, you know what? Actually, I still want to go. Or was that something you thought about in the darkness or previously? Like, if you could find motivation, if you could find another, like maybe mountain to climb, if you could, like, was any of that a thought that maybe you had during the darkness or before that was kind of reignited whenever Green Bay said, we're planning on basically moving on, or do you not view it that way?
No, not really. I mean, I think when I left Green Bay, you know, a week after the season, 8 days, whatever it might have been, 8 or 9 days, I felt like that was it. I felt like I wasn't coming back. It was just a feeling. I wasn't based on anything more than maybe
on how they're acting.
Just on how it felt. Like it felt like this was my last time, you know, in Green Bay as a starting quarterback. And then, but I was open to that changing based on how, you know, people responded or didn't respond. But you know, there was some conversation around, you know, what you want to do in the off season, and are you okay if we don't bring back any of your guys? That honestly didn't have a big bearing on it.
News things.
It was more just a sense.
Going off. All right, I have to get back to work. So if there's an official thing, I'll do a recap, and if not, then it's it. So my name's Henry Confidential. Like I said, check out these other videos, me discussing the Zach Wilson draft, Garrett Wilson sauce, and JJ. You have my idea of just my Jets fandom and the stuff that I know from a football perspective. But this is my unofficial reaction to Rodgers saying that he wants to go to the Jets. It's looking like he's going to the Jets, but as of right now, nothing is set in stone. If this video gets enough likes, then I will start a new channel and it'll officially move over. But for now, I just put this on my current YouTube channel just for more eyes. So with that said, Jet up, Jets, Jets. I'm Henry Confidential, and this will eventually be the Gotham Green. Ladies.